What's going on, everyone? Coach Dorston here. End of the week. Hope you've had a great week. Hope you're all still doing well, enjoying the workouts. We're going to get right into it with another Hornets at-home workout. So we've got our whiteboard loaded up, ready to go. Again, if you're kind of new to this, please go check out the warm-up videos so you can kind of see what you need to go through to prep your body, get it ready for the work that we're about to put it through. Then we've got our number one. Exercise number one, we've got 20-yard sprints times 5. Again, remember 1.5 minutes, so 2 minutes of rest in between each and every rep so that we're giving our body the recovery that it needs so each rep can be as explosive as the one before it. When you're kind of finding your distances and everything, make sure that you are checking that there's any holes, rocks, divots in the ground that might cause you to hurt yourself if you step in it or step on it or something like that. And then also remember, give yourselves plenty of room after where you're running to decelerate, slow down. I don't want to see you all stomping through the finish line, everything like that. Make sure you have plenty of room to decelerate afterwards. Then we've got our 2A and our 2B. We've got broad jumps, 4x3. And then suitcase carries, 4 by 30 to 45 seconds. Remember, this is going to be a superset. So we're going from one set of our broad jumps, so 1 by 3, to one set on each side of our body with the suitcase carry, 4 by 30 to 45 seconds, or 1 by 30 to 45 seconds. And then we'll be starting back over with the broad jumps. Remember with these, that you're giving yourself a couple seconds between the exercises and then maybe even a little more time before starting back over with that circuit. Then we've got our 3A and our 3B. A is going to be our towel leg curls. We've got 4 by 8, and then we've got our lateral bear crawls for time this time. So 4 by 30 seconds. Remember with this, usually we have kind of our 5-yard distance for that. If you want to still set up your distances, go for it. But just make sure that you're getting even reps going each direction. Again, another superset. So then we've got our 4A, B, and C. We've got our lateral lunges with hold, 3 by 8 on each leg. Then we've got our B, feet elevated push-ups, 3 by 6 to 8, and then C, our single arm iso row holds for 3 by 4 to 6 on each arm. And our finisher is going to be the 90 seconds of squats to hip pops. So we've already gone through our warm-up, already gone through our 20-yard sprint. Now we're going to be starting with our broad jump. So we've done broad jumps before. It's going to be the same setup as before, as well as with our vertical jumps that we did earlier on in the week. Make sure the two most important parts on this is actually going to be the initial snap down, which I'll show you, and then the actual landing piece. I know you all think that the jumping portion is going to be the bigger portion, but the snap down and that catch at the end are working on kind of our deceleration or how we absorb forces. So it's going to be really, really important because that'll keep us for staying healthy and for getting injured. So, setting up, our hands are going to be reaching towards the sky, reaching towards the ceiling. We're going to be up on our toes. And remember with this, we're snapping down, making sure that when we go, we're thinking about kind of having gum or kind of glue on the bottom of our feet, making sure that whole foot is staying nice and in contact with the ground. What I don't want to see is if you're snapping down, you're rolling back onto your heels and then going. So making sure that we have our feet nice and planted towards the ground. Then we're going to explode out. Remember, even though we're going kind of for distance here, we still want to get a little bit of height to it. So, all right, up nice and tall, up on our toes, snapping down, exploding out, and then catching ourselves. Remember, when we're catching, we're kind of trying to get back into that original athletic position. I don't want to see when you land, you dropping it too low. Again, we're trying to really control that landing, pump those brakes. So then just gently walk back to where you started, up and tall again, snapping down, exploding out, and catching ourselves. Again, make sure you have plenty of room to jump Make sure that there's not anything coming down from the ceiling if you're inside, that you're gonna hit your head on, anything like that. Then we've got our suitcase here. I've got my backpack again loaded up. If you need, if you have weights or anything at home, go for it. If you actually have like a suitcase that you can kind of fill up with books, weights, something like that, go for it. Just make sure that you're not going to destroy whatever you're using. I don't need to be getting yelled at by your parents for you breaking their nice stuff. So I've got my backpack. And again, with this, we want to think kind of like a moving side plank. So walking side plank. Got it down to our side, pulling our shoulder blades back and down. So kind of putting those shoulder blades in our pocket. And then nice, gradual walk. Turning around. We're going 30 to 45 seconds here. With my offhand, I kind of like to make a nice little fist and think about also pulling back that shoulder blade. Just kind of helps create full body tension the whole time. 30 to 45 seconds, then switch sides, then we'd be back to our broad jump. Next, we're gonna have our towel leg curls. I'm using my sliders here. Again, towel, blanket, anything on kind of a wooden floor, tile floor that'll slide. Just make sure, again, you're asking your parents for something. Don't be dirtying up their freshly cleaned towels, anything like that. I don't want you getting in trouble. So, setting up kind of like how we do in our single leg glute bridge. We're going, laying back on our back, palms towards the ceiling, reaching our fingers down towards our toes, pinching those shoulder blades into the ground first, then think about tightening up that core, so getting rid of the space in between our low back and the ground. So pulling that down, and then we're going up and going out nice and controlled. Then go exploding back up. So again, nice and slow on the way out, exploding back up. If you need to, if that's too easy, you can go slow both ways. So going out, and then back in. You'll notice as my heels come towards my butt, my hips are getting higher. So keep that in mind. If that's still easy for you, again, we can go to our single leg option. Just make sure whichever leg you have up. We have a nice 90-degree bend. Our toe is pulled towards our knee. Again, everything else is nice and set up. We're going up, down, bringing it back up. If that's difficult, then I just want you working on going out, nice and controlled, then putting your butt down, resetting everything, and again, and then you would switch sides. If you need to, if you're doing the single leg option, just make sure that you might have to decrease your reps a little bit, which is fine because again, it's a little more difficult. Then we've got our lateral bear crawls for time, so I would set up my timer, 30 seconds. Then remember, for a bear crawl, we've got our feet back, knees under our hips or a little behind, and then hands under our shoulders. With this, we're pulling our shoulder blades down and back, so put them in our pocket, then tighten up our core, just kind of like a cat-cow. So just slightly tucking, then going up, knees just hovering right above the ground, and then we're going to the side. Since we're going third for time here, I'm going to take about 2 or 3 steps, one way, then 2 or 3 steps back the other. Now, if you are kind of rushing through these and you're like, wow, these are pretty easy, then what I want you to do, get like a tennis ball. If you're really feeling crazy, get a tennis ball or just like a shoe or a cone would probably be better to start with. But I've got shoe right here, and I'm just gonna put it right on my lower back. And what that's gonna do, if I start rocking too much, if I get up, I start going back and forth and rocking too much, it's going to fall off. So this is going to make me have to control my movement. So everything's nice and tight, going to the side. Going back. So again, if I start really trying to speed up with this, that shoe's gonna fall off. So try something like that if you need to make it a little harder. Then we've got our 4A, B, and C. First, we're gonna start with our lateral lunges with a hold. So what I mean, again, if you don't need weight, go for it. I'm gonna grab my backpack just because I'll use a little bit. Again, getting that nice kind of goblet squat position. Tucking those elbows in, starting nice and tall, and then we're stepping to the side. And then think about dropping our hip back into that, and then let our knee follow. So I'm stepping, dropping, and then hold. Think about 1, 2, and then try to explode back up. So one more time. Dropping that hip back, holding down in 1, down in 2, and explode back up. Now, I don't want to see, again, your chest dipping too far forward, but you're going to have a little bit of a bend to it, which is fine. But make sure you're not just leaning all the way over. We'll go to the other side. So again, stepping out, pushing our hips back, 1, 2, exploding back up. If that's a little trickier, a little difficult, remember, start in kind of a wider stance. We'll go with our lateral squat. Again, I'm holding, pushing our hips back from there, holding 1, 2, pushing back up, down to the other side, 1, 2, driving back up. A little more control with that one. Then we'll have our feet elevated push-ups. So try to find something that's stable. I'm going to use my chair right here, but again, try to find some steps or something like that that's not going to slide around. Then we're getting up, putting our feet up. Again, hands about shoulder width apart, a little outside of that even. Core's nice and tight. Squeezing our glutes. Then we're going down. And back down. So again, you'll kind of notice my chair is moving a little bit. Try to get something that's a little more stable. And remember, the higher up you put your feet, the more shoulder based it's going to be. So kind of find that spot where you can still keep control, and we're kind of getting the chest and the shoulders at the same time. Last one here is going to be our single arm iso row hold. So beginning of the week, we did kind of like a hold with it. We're going for a longer one here. And with this, we're going to get kind of a stagger stance instead of to get kind of feet right next to each other. You're gonna get a stagger stance, so you can go a little more weight on this if you can. I've got my backpack. Again, if you have dumbbells, kettlebells, something like that, go for it. And if you need to add a little more, a couple more books or some kind of weight to whatever you're using, go for it. Just make sure you got nice, solid control. So I'm getting down, pulling my elbow back towards my hips, and then with this, we're going for a 10-second count. So holding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then release 4 to 6 of those. Then you would switch sides. Making sure we have nice control the whole entire time. And then our finisher is going to be the squat to hip hops for 90 seconds. So remember, I don't care if you have your arms straight out in front, if you have your hands kind of on your ears or on your head just a little bit, but we're squatting down, popping our hips, squatting up, popping. So going to the left, going to the right, that's 1. Try to keep that nice solid form. And remember, with this, we're not trying to turn our whole body, we're just trying to rotate at the hips. So trying to keep our shoulders square forward. Record your number, send it to your coaches. Again, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.